Pride, I know most people have forgotten, is now being forced to go back into the closet. And Claire, you sent me this story. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I thought this was kind of interesting, and of course, I thought of you, Melonie, when I came across it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a Pride Fest in Naples, Florida, that was challenged in court, and the court basically ruled that the drag show that they want to have has to be inside and it has to be adults only. And this comes after. See, it's my gift for Melonie on an Estrocast day.
Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me, is this like so obviously common sense that it's sad we have to rule on it, or is it good that courts are finally handing out clear instructions about this?
Hey, I think this is a win. This is a step in the right direction. It's I don't like any of this stuff. It's degenerate, it's perverted, but if they're going to do it, make them do it indoors where children will not see it. And I actually stumbled on TikTok today on a video of two very queer individuals who actually were expressing a little common sense on the issue, at least, because they made a little video saying, hey, by the way, guys, we're super queer and all that, but we don't think that kids should be at pride shows because pride is inherently, pride parades are kink. Pride is kink. Yep. Why would you have kids at kink? And it's like, are you finally admitting what we've been saying and what we've been canceled for saying or attempted to be canceled for saying, that all of this whole pride parade and stuff, that's all it is. It is kink. LGBTQ, all of that is kink. It is all perversion of what God made was supposed to be a husband and wife. So it's perversion and offshoot of a kink, you know? And so that's
they
all
get off
that
on
it is.
Subjecting everyone else to it. Right?
Exactly. And I think that's one reason why they do the parades, because it's like an exhibitionist thing to where they want to see people who are celebrating their kink and their perversion. And it's like, look, they're obviously I can't, but I'm not even trying to force people to have to live in accordance to the Bible on this. If there are people who want to participate in these things, hey, that's their decisions, but I don't want to see it. And also be real for what it is. Stop acting like it's a love thing. Love is love. No, nothing. It has never been about love. It's all kink. That's all it is. So at least be for real about it. And if you're going to do it, hey, I think that's nasty, but keep it behind closed doors and I don't have to see it. I can't tell you what to do with your life.
Yeah. I think something that's interesting is like this expansionist definition of who belongs at Pride. The organizers of this eventually put out a statement being like, we're going to continue to have, I think it's this Saturday is their Pride Fest. But blah, 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 fluff. You belong here. And it's supposed to be like, we are the most welcoming, most tolerating. And I think that is sort of, it reminds me of when Christian churches are like, oh, well, love is love. And Jesus loved everyone. And so we love you no matter what you're doing. Like it is sort of a misinterpretation of what it means to be like a supportive, welcoming community.
Exactly.
You don't have to like storm into people's home and demand that they stop whatever they're doing in the privacy of their bedrooms. But I think it's totally fair for a community to say like, hey, there are certain limits on what you're allowed to do here. Just because it's Pride doesn't mean that we have to tolerate lewd behavior in public. Like it's not a loophole or a get out of jail free month.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't have any issue at all with this because I mean, the thing is that Pride Parade started with kind of brightly colored floats and whatever. And then people like me who used to be living that live and is not anymore, we said, whatever, let them have their funny looking parade. And then it was like, oh, there's open sex acts happening in the parades. And there's, men who are completely nude. And there's, a touching booth and this and that. And, I think that it's a little gross. And it got about showing off that to people more than being accepted. And I just feel like, as with most things, they push it too far,
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's one of the, like you said, you used to be live and let live, and you're not anymore. And I think that's the end result of a lot of this. Like the idea that you have to just accept and tolerate it no matter how wrong it feels to you, or you're concerned about protecting children or whatever. Like they are, they're playing on your compassion and hospitality, and it runs out. And I think the fear of being called bigoted or the fear of, some sort of social backlash is really ending because the demands from this group has become so extreme. I mean, the idea that like pride festivals are like family friendly, but also we have to have a several months legal battle over whether a drag show is going to be there. Like these things don't make sense, and to try and pretend they do is ridiculous, and people don't want to do it anymore.
And that's the thing is a lot of us got so much backlash, or, oh, you're mean, oh, you're cruel, because of how passionate we were speaking against this stuff, or, oh, you should be nicer about it because you use a slur that I don't like. But meanwhile, everybody was using said slur before. But anyway, they want to say, oh, you're so mean. And it's like, do you see what was happening? Do you see that children were being subjected to this perversion? And do you see that children were being groomed? And look at what happened with the whole transgender movement, where they actually have mutilated children. So it's like, oh, you can say that we're being cruel and because we're not being let live enough. Well, when you see children who are being subjected to this perversion and mutilation, then sometimes you got to be a bit tough when you're speaking against this stuff. And look what's going on in our culture. It is working because collectively, a lot of us were bold in standing against this. And we had to be bold. We couldn't be soft about this because guess what happened? These people felt like they had all this power and control and could try to cancel you and try to ruin your life, even if you were to say something in a nice way against this movement. So we had to be bold to fight back. And it clearly has made an impact.
Yeah, it seems like nobody's really afraid of this crap anymore.
Yep.
Like, there's some like pretty girl on Twitter who always just says the F slur. Like, and it goes viral.
I heard she's the queen of it,
Yeah, I've heard she's the queen of it. I heard she's even getting men to fall in love with her over it. But
but all the men should know that they have to direct their resumes and a bank statement, several, to Jeremy, and then they'll be passed along after the initial screening to all the male relatives Melonie has, her dad and her many brothers.
Right, we need headshots too.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but
resume, bank statement, Jeremy, then second screening by her
you know
male
what?
relative.
There's a reason
Form
that
a line, gentlemen.
Yep, it didn't make it. It didn't pass muster with me. I would have passed that one on, but I did a little research.
Okay.
There were some questionable things, and I wish him the best. But I will not be passing that on past the initial gatekeeper here. But a more formal resume would be also video. It has to be video too, because we have to see if there's any weird things going on there.
That's true.
I'm a big fan of this. We need to push it back the other way a little bit here to get a little bit of, normalcy back, a little bit of regularity back when it comes to what is acceptable for being in public. Get rid of these, elementary school drag shows. Get rid of like all this stuff, and then maybe we can find a happy medium. Because love isn't love. We talked about a play. I think we played the old Professor video. I don't know if Melonie was on. I don't think. Were you on for that?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh yeah. So where the professor basically said like a lot of the leaders of the LGBTQ movement were more concerned with normalizing little boy love is what they would call it. And this has been something that's been obfuscated. And when you bring it up, they literally rage. In that video, the LGBTQ activists that were in the room were just trying to shut him down. But, these documents, are undeniable. And the things they say about little boy love is undeniable. And the fact that there is a real element of this community that they, I always look at it, it's like, just like with the Terrys, I'm going to look sideways at the entire Muslim community because you won't root these people out. It's the same thing I say about, the LGBT community, not rooting these people out, not ostracizing them and calling them freaks.
Right.
So if you're gonna keep them in your group willingly and keep them under your umbrella, then the whole movement is tainted. And it's a very easy decision to make, you would think. Like, hey, if they're into kids, maybe we shouldn't have them. But But they
You
won't
should
do
be able
that.
to set like draw lines and boundaries. Like I don't understand how the culture that is very pro therapy and setting boundaries with your adult parents or whatever can't see that this is an important line to draw. You shouldn't have
Yeah.
nudity in front of children, and people who are arguing that they should be able to have sexual relationships with children should not be someone that you're including in anything.